Okay, format. I thought this was an interesting question, and I've sort of pulled it out on an Excel sheet just to kind of analyze it a little. But let's look at the question. The question says that um, Format is developing a new product and intends to use target costing to price the product. The price, we haven't set the price, so we're trying to choose between 4 and 5. That's the point. We have some information. If the price is at 4, the demand will be 50,000 units. And if the price is at 5, the demand will be 45,000 units. And we require a profit margin of 20%. Now remember that whatever we sell something for, we will have a variable cost. So we're going to sell these things and we'll pay off our variable costs, which gives us technically our profit. But they say they want a required profit margin of 20%. So if you go back to break even land and target costing, this profit margin in a weird kind of way is like cost as well, because you want us to cover, we have to cover the variable cost of the product anyway, which is £1.30 for 45 and £1.20 for that. Then you also want us to give you this target profit. So whatever we have left better cover our fixed costs is the point, right? That's kind of the moral of this story. So what I've done here is to say, okay, listen, these are your units. You have the option to sell at £5 here, or the option to sell at £4. You want me to give you 20% of that first. So I'm going to take, that's 20% of that 5. So I'm going to take 20% of that, and you want me to give you 20% of this. So that's the first thing. So that's the first, technically it's like a cost, but anyway, because you want it from my £5. You want 1 from my 5, you want 0.8 from my 4. So, in fact, I don't even know why I had this thing here. In fact, I think I can get rid of this idea here because initially when I thought about that, it doesn't even really work. Now, the next point here is that I'm given a variable cost of £1.3. So I now have and 1.2 for at these different units. So economies of scale. The more I make, the cheaper it is to make it, right? So that's um, that's another set of costs. So in a weird kind of way, this whole thing right here is are the costs I should be interested in. In a weird kind of way, they are target costs as a total, right? And if you see what I mean, so I must cover this £1 and I must cover this variable cost. So I literally must make so what that's the total of the costs that are almost critical because you've given me that margin. So the question then becomes, well, what do I have left? Well, if you're making 5 and you have to cover those, you have £2.70 left on each unit, and you have £2 here. Now, I'm going to sell 45,000 units, right? So if I sell 45,000 um, units, if I sell 45,000 units at £2.70 each, I have left, right? 45,000 times £2.70. So I have 121,500 left after covering these variable costs. That's what I have left. And here you have 100,000 left. But your fixed costs are 120,000. They're not going away. So if your fixed costs are 120,000 here and you're only making 100,000 after covering your variable costs, which you have to cover, and you also want me to give you this margin, I'm just not going to have enough, right? But here at £2.70, I can sell 45,000 units, fewer units, but higher price, and get 120,000 and cover my fixed costs. So technically, I can make profit here of technically 1,500, technically. But again, and here you're making a loss if you like, and so yeah, and so therefore you should go for this one where you're selling at £5. And so yeah, and that's how you answer that. You should sell it at £5. And I've done all of this here in this spreadsheet here, so you can sort of fit all that in, and that's how you deal with that. Okay, great stuff. And that's question 222.